I'm your comedian and I am here to take all your pain. See, I live in the eye of a hurricane. Tiny vibrations I'm sending in waves. I'm your dealer and healer as your sorrows dissipate. 'Cause when you're about to stroke out, I sell jokes for clown, and I'll never run out.
What is happening, you beautiful 10 out of 10s? What's going on? Welcome to the Anti-George Carlin podcast, the greatest podcast in the multiverse. Come on, you beautiful 10 out of 10s. What's happening? If you are anything like me, I'm always on the lookout for clothing and apparel, and to be honest, sometimes some miscellaneous items. Just today, I gave my dad an American flag, yay big, and I made sure it was made in America. And of course, he obliged the gift because it's Veterans Day today. Sure, I'll take this American flag. Thank you, son. That's how it went. And I love giving gifts. That's always the perfect gift for a dad. A patriotic shirt or a patriotic flag, whatever it is, you can't go wrong. So let's check this Under Armour shirt I'm currently wearing. I got it at Dick's. Let's give it the old American-made test. And when I got into Dick's, it turned out to be a sporting goods place. False advertisement, if you ask me, folks. Come on now. So where's this shirt made? You guys can see first. Where's that made? El Salvador? What, dude? I'm top. This is my only shirt, dude. This is my only patriotic shirt. If only there was a better, if only there was a better way. What's a man to do? Well, a man with a fedora has all the answers, folks. Sea of Mud Apparel has a rustic clothing line. And not only is this an American company, the materials are sourced in America and it's manufactured in Nashville, Tennessee. Beautiful, fun city. So American. I did two shows there when I was in the RV. And I think they only have two comedy clubs. Let's face it, it's a music town. And it rocks. It kicks ass. It's a cool town. But check it out. This country was built on calloused hands and unshakable grit. Look at this. Look at these calloused hands, folks. Most comedians don't have calloused hands. They have soft, brittle hands. They almost break when you shake it. At Sea of Mud Apparel, they make gear for the ones still out there doing the hard work. The forgotten men and women of rural America. Every piece they make is American-made, patriotic, and built to last. It's rugged, durable, and made for folks who don't quit when the job gets tough. Sounds like us. Sounds like the listeners of the Anti-George Carlin podcast. But wait, there is more. And right now, buy one, get one free. All the way through Thanksgiving. Come on, folks. Plus, if you send us a photo of you wearing your Sea of Mud gear, we'll hook you up with a 25% off site-wide discount code for your next order. This is too good to be true, man. Come on. American made, and they're giving us all this. So don't wait. Gear up, stand tall, and show what rural America is made of. Head to seaofmud.com, and that is SEAOFMUD.com right now. That's seaofmud.com. Use code RUMBLE for 15% off because I am transitioning to Rumble, folks. And take advantage of the BOGO deal before Thanksgiving. Sea of Mud Apparel, rural America's clothing company, built for the forgotten, worn by the proud. And I can take off this El Salvadorian shirt and get a Sea of Mud patriotic apparel to wear for this next podcast. Come on, folks. It's a no-brainer. So what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? It's literally the Wild West. When I go on the internet, I try and take breaks. When I was in the RV, a lot of times I didn't have service, and that was the best. And I would check in like 4 days later, and I'll be like, "What? What is going on? The world has gone mad." So the more time you separate yourself from phones, the better. And by the way, that ad I read, I wouldn't steer you wrong with an un-American company. You know, I if you know anything about me, I barely do ad reads, right? I trust that company, and I think it is a good company. I'm just leaving it there. But it is the Wild West, man. I was looking at my phone today, and I saw Nick Fuentes, who is hilarious. Please come to comedy, Nick Fuentes. But I hope he's joking sometimes, because he pops up now and then, and I laugh so hard because the latest one was like, the older generation, man, they really effed us over, dude. They didn't leave these young people a chance. And he goes into this hardcore. They're like, they really bent us over. We're like, the young generation's like this. And the older generation's just, this is what the older generation's, he's like, they're really doing this to us. And he's like, but wait, it gets worse, dude. They're actually doing this. Because these boomers are sexual perverts, dude. They're literally fisting us, dude. They are fisting us. What are you talking about? To the younger generation, I'm a little bit older. I know. Okay, I'm 32. Okay, I'm a little bit older. It's supposed to suck. Let me ask you guys a few questions. Did you guys eat food today? You did? Good. Did you drink clean water? You did. Okay. Got it. Do you have a bed to sleep in at night and it's a safe environment? You do? Great. And do you have a roof over your head that isn't leaking or something crazy? So you have food in your stomach, you got clean water, you got a bed to sleep in, and shelter. What's the problem? Why are you getting bent over and fisted? I don't understand. Life is good. Why is your heart frantic? Well, I believe it's a spiritual crisis, and it's all a spiritual war. It's spiritual warfare. I said that from the beginning. You know, who was if you listen to this podcast, you may already know, but who were the first, let's say, group of people to silence speech? Ironically, it was the high priests. And this dates back to Egypt. And some of the high priests would silence other high priests because they wanted their religion to catch on so they could profit from it and dominate. It's similar to business today. It was a business back then, and it was kind of like this. You gotta go through me to get to God. Back in Egypt, it was you gotta go through me to get the Thoth. Plus, pay up. And actually, all of you're gonna be slaves. Go build the pyramids. And people are always impressed with the pyramids. Don't get me wrong; it's fascinating, and their knowledge of astronomy surpasses the average person's today by far, leaps and bounds. But you gotta remember, we're closer to Cleopatra. Timeline-wise, year-wise, than Cleopatra was to the construction of the pyramids. A lot can happen in 40,000 years with, I don't know, 20,000 slaves or more. I don't know the number. I made that up. Let's fact check that because people are getting on me. Fact check that. How many slaves did Egypt have building the pyramids? Is this controlled by China's ChatGPT? Oh, can I trust this, folks? Well, the old people are really messing this up, dude. They're going to town on us. Can I trust this? Well, it says I nailed that, dude. But the workforce of approximately 20,000 paid laborers. I want to know the slaves. How many slaves? They gave me paid workers. Were there slaves? Okay, they're saying that All right, this may be straight BS, but it's worldatlast.com. They're saying that it's mostly myth. Until recently, it was believed that enslaved people built the pyramids. Misinterpretations of the biblical book of Exodus and written work by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus. I don't know about this, the Greek stuff, the Stoicism. The other day, someone was talking to me before a comedy show, and they're talking to me about, they're really into like Stoicism, and I gave them a look like this. And I stared at him as stoically as I could while he's talking, and he was like, I'm like, Stoicism, right? I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good joke, but he didn't think it was funny. He's like, no, this is serious, dude. Why are you cracking jokes right now? Because you're talking about Stoicism before a comedy show, dude. So I don't know, guys. I always thought there were slaves. You learn stuff new every day. You know, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? And you got to hear what people are saying and hear what people are saying. So all I'm saying is there has been spiritual warfare since Egypt, you know, and that never changes. They want to suppress the deep end of the pool as much as possible because they want you focused on politics. They want you focused on, this is an injustice. They're really messing me over, man. I should have a mansion. I should have a mansion when I'm 20. Well, is your room even cleaned? Because a mansion's a lot of square footage. If you can't clean your room, how are you going to clean a mansion, dude? To be honest, money is not what people think. Like, once you get some, you realize, like, it's not, it may make you happy for a day or two, but it doesn't fill the void. And in fact, some of your worst personality traits come out when you have a lot of money. What I did in college, and this is embarrassing, so I'll let you guys in. So I had a credit card for my dad for emergencies. And I went to a bar one night. So this wasn't even my money. And I'm buying drinks for my boys. And then this couple girls, like, drinks on me. No big deal. I acted like it was my money. It was my dad's. How cringy is that? I mean, looking back, I can see I was trying to impress people. I didn't feel good enough on the inside. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't have dignity because I was doing things like that. You know, I had one responsibility in college, and that was to study and learn. And that was the only thing I didn't do. I just partied, right? Because I wasn't given this cool information about spirituality, and my whole life I was so against religion, dude. I wanted nothing to do with it. But the spirituality stuff always landed. That there is nothing wrong with you. You just have to remember that you're a spiritual being in this physical vessel with a mind. And in Buddhism, the sixth sense, it's literally thinking. As crazy as that sounds. So you got your hearing, seeing, smelling, you got touch, you got your senses, right? The mind is literally a sense in Buddhism. If you get far enough in, and what happens is the mind naturally produces thoughts and thinking. So if you, and last podcast, I even said, Jesus said, it literally doesn't matter what you eat. It matters what you think. Moses. Meek as Moses, the correct translation is literally mastery of consciousness. He would pray. He mastered prayer so well that he basically he constructed what is now modern day government, right? When he took what was considered slaves, I guess, and now I'm getting a bunch of information. I always thought it was slaves, and he freed the slaves. But I guess not. Egyptian, like the people that study the pyramids are weird, man. I trust the Americans going over there and studying it. The Egyptians are weird. They want to like restrict knowledge and like keep stuff for themselves and like keep any new idea they want to dismiss instantaneously. And they're not very open-minded. How current Egyptologists, pyramidologists, the people that study the pyramids in Egypt are very closed-minded, and they reject new ideas. And if you're a Christian, you have to change a lot of your fundamental beliefs, because by changing fundamental metaphysical beliefs, we progress, as not only as a human, but as a society in whole. So if they're gridlocked and they can't change, there's not much you can work with. It's one narrative being spit at you. It's a totalitarian state. And I had a roommate. This is 100% true. He was from Egypt. And the first day I got to my dorm room, he was smoking cigarettes in the bathroom. And he gets kicked out like literally 3 weeks into my first semester for smoking weed in the bathroom. There's a fire alarm that goes off. I come back from a bar with a friend, we'll say, and it's like 1 a.m. And this is actually a funny story. I will go into this and get back to the spirituality, but this is my former self that died a while ago. Just saying. The whole dorm room's emptied, right? And the Tampa Bay fireplace is there. There's like 8 fire trucks. And I'm like, I wonder what happened. Like, when can we go in? I'm like, great. The girl's name was, let's just say Rachel. I'm like, Rachel, you can go back. I'll walk you back to your dorm room right now. She's, no, I want to stay. I want to sleep over. I'm like, okay. And when we get up to my dorm room, it was my dorm room. So this guy now goes with like campus security, and he got busted for smoking weed in the bathroom. So now I have the dorm room to myself. And the next day was like the first day I started some new class, and I woke up late, right? This is actually a funny story. So I go to class, and I'm like introducing myself to the professor after, and I go to my next class and blah, blah, blah. I come back and I look at my sheets, and I'm like, is that a blood stain? What is this? Is it blood? Did I bleed last night? What's going on? My listeners already know where this is going. I look at myself in the mirror, which I failed to do because I was a little bit late. Hawaiian punch mustache. Blood on my face. Like I look like a clown. Dried blood on my face. I introduced myself to a professor like that. Okay. More than that. This is like a week later. She was in a sorority called I always get it confused with SDT, Sigma Delta Tau. And I'm at lunch one day, we're getting steak. There's a guy, University of Tampa has a sick hookup with the food. So I'll go to this dude who would always be like blasting Wu-Tang Clan. And he'd be doing the steaks. He said, what you want, man? I'm like, I want a steak rare. I get it. Ironically, I wanted the steak rare, and I get it, and I look over, and she's with like 8 of the hottest junior and senior sorority chicks, right? And I get my steak, and I look over, I make eye contact, and I go like this. And she turns to her friends, and they all start laughing. I kid you not. I was so embarrassed. I like ran over to a solo spot. Like it wasn't even part of the cafeteria. It was like behind it where people dropped their trays off. And I'm like sitting in this booth eating lunch as quickly as I can to get out of there. It was so embarrassing, dude. And my friends called me Hawaiian Punch for like 2 weeks. And then my nickname switched quickly after that. But you get nicknames in life. Right now, there's a couple. Some people are calling me Al Gore, but it's the nickname doesn't make sense. It's an inside thing. So, anyways, if you have a nickname, drop it in the comments. But for real, I want to know people's nicknames. I think they're hilarious. I love stories around nicknames. So the spirituality, right? So it started in Egypt, and next thing you know, you get like the Catholic Church comes around and they go, you gotta go through me to get to God. Plus, pay up, bub. And also, you're gonna come over here and we're gonna have some a little deviancy, a little sexual deviancy. And to compensate for that, they then said, look, you can't use your position of power to have sex with women. It was really being abused. It was a really big deal. So in Christianity, one of the rules was like, if you're a priest, you can't really get married. So who doesn't get married? Well, it's gay dudes. A lot of gay dudes then went into positions like that, priests, and years and years of this go by, and now priests are molesting kids in America. Going back to, people always mess stuff up. Like, one person will mess up a very good situation, but then there was Martin Luther, who's like, wait a second, this is crazy. You got to go through me to get to God, and we have to pay you too? No. Jesus said this: I don't believe in organized religion. Most people think that this whole Sabbath thing of Jesus healing on a Sunday is why, like, the Jews don't believe in Jesus. That's not it. Why Jewish people do not believe that Jesus was a prophet or the Son of God is because they can only believe in one. So this goes before the Old Testament Kabbalah. This is like ancient Jewish mysticism, but they believe it's a paradox to believe in more than one God. If you have an impenetrable wall, let's say, and an unstoppable force, it's a paradox, right? So the Jews only believe in one because of that, not because Jesus was saying, hey man, like, I can do whatever I want on this day, and if I want to perform a miracle, I can. Who are you? I don't believe in organized religion. Jesus literally didn't believe in organized religion. He believed that you were the church, and you take it with you outside of church. A lot of churches have switched to that. Like, you are getting taught a lesson. Everyone comes and congregates, and there's a community atmosphere of like-minded individuals that go, hey, this is our community. We want to pay our respects to God, to Jesus, on this day of the week, because the rest of the week is work and labor and apparently we're really getting effed, right? But things are good, man. If you got a roof over your head, you got food in your stomach, things are good. So this brings us to present day. And present day, who's the one who's silencing speech? Because it's not the priests. It's not the high priest anymore. Who is it? It's politicians. That is correct. Isn't that interesting? Why that's so interesting is because politics has replaced religion. Young people are now waking up to this. They are going back to church more. But politics is truly a religion. They follow it like a religion. Look at the left. They follow it. There's almost a war going on. It's Catholic Protestants. It's Republicans, Democrats. I'm not going into politics in this podcast, but I'm observing from the stands, looking down at this game being played. It's very strange. It seems like a war. There's a lot of dirty tactics, lying, manipulating, gaslighting, antisocial behaviors, narcissistic behaviors, a lot of defense mechanisms to prevent a lot of denial. Look at this, the COVID stuff. It took years for people to go, yes, okay, it came from a lab in Wuhan. That shouldn't be political. That's a health crisis. How dare you make that political? That's my health and my family's health. How dare you, right? It should have never been politicized. I knew something was up when people were going to get toilet paper. I was like, what? This is crazy, dude. False evidence appearing real. Did you run out of toilet paper? Me either. I was fine on the toilet paper front. You got me? So, we're going to wrap this up. You are a 10 out of 10. I said that in the beginning. Everything is okay. Presently, none of that is going on. You are simply listening to the greatest podcast in the multiverse, the anti-George Carlin podcast. Remember to go to See Mud Apparel, and we're going to end with a 1-minute meditation to just prove to you that everything is A-okay. You are a 10 out of 10. You just got to listen. You just have to stop for 1 minute. And I promise you, if you do this with me, you will feel a lot better. I always say thank God for what is not happening. If you have PTSD, veterans, right? The first thing is you have to recognize that that isn't happening. Like right now, I'm just sitting in a chair talking to the audience. That's all that's happening, you know? But people can be in their heads. So let's just try 60 seconds of sitting here. And it doesn't matter if your mind's wandering. Let it do it. That's just what it does. It's the sixth sense in Buddhism, like I was talking about earlier. So let's give it the old college try. I guarantee you'll feel better. Take deep breaths through the nose. Slowly exhale. And just try and sit here for a minute. All right, that's about a minute. Do you feel better? How do you feel right now? I feel better. I feel lighter. And if you're like, yeah, my mind wandered, that's okay. That's just what it does. You don't have to attach yourself to those thoughts. Remember, you're so much bigger than your thoughts. My first line of defense is a deep breath. And I need to do this more. I'm talking to myself. And I'll rarely ever tell people what to do. A lot of times I'll ask questions like, do you think meditation would improve your life? Did that 1 minute help you in any way? And just by motivational interviewing, that's a tactic often used in therapy, people naturally come to the answers on their own. And that's what I was trying to explain defending Tucker Carlson. He was pushing back in a very helpful way, Nick Fuentes. He wasn't demeaning him or like attacking him. He was just simply leading him towards answers that you'll naturally come to if you know the right questions to ask. So again, would taking 1 minute out of your day improve your life just to get quiet? It produced amazing results for me in the past, and I have a suspicion that's going to continue to give me amazing results moving forward. So thank you guys for tuning into the Anti-George Carlin podcast. You are a 10 out of 10. Little fedora tap for the road. Come on now. He's getting good with that fedora, man, I'm telling you.